Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of Get Woke with Danielle Moody. Let's get into today's show. First off, by the time that you watch this, Hurricane Milton will have potentially made landfall in Orlando, in Tampa, in Florida. Folks, the possible devastation, if what the meteorologists are saying is true, this could be the most devastating hurricane to ever make landfall in Florida. And it will cost billions of dollars and cost countless lives, as people have been told over and over again to evacuate. We also know that there are people that can't evacuate, that we learned during Katrina, over a decade ago, that evacuation is a privilege if you have the money, you have the mobility to be able to flee. And there are too many Americans that just cannot. And so my heart goes out. I really hope that people got to safety, because I am terrified by the fact that half of this country is continuing to believe the lies that Donald Trump is spouting. Half of this country doesn't believe what is happening is real. They would rather tell you that climate change is something made up, but somehow storms are man-made now. Make it make sense. But take a listen to Fox News for the first time. I mean, maybe pigs are also flying, trying to fact check Donald Trump in real time. Take a listen.
Yet they're offering people $750
for immediate needs.
For the worst, but for the worst hurricane that anybody's seen. But she shouldn't be there anyway. She should be, I would say, North Carolina is bad, is so bad. And
she was there today for 3 hours, I believe, Kamala Harris.
Yeah. As he goes on there to spread more lies and say that, oh, well, the money isn't enough. Well, that's the $750 is initial money, right? Is life-saving money for people that have none, to potentially get out of harm's way, get a hotel, get gas in their car, get food. And he said, oh, Kamala Harris has been nowhere near North Carolina. Actually, she's there right now, is what was said by the anchor. These lies are costing people their lives, and they have to stop. But I don't know if they will. Because as I always say, by the time a lie is around the corner, the truth has not even gotten out of the door. And it's just continuing the cycle over and over and over again. I want to switch gears to another story that is just utterly appalling, which is the fact that the Supreme Court has started their next 9-month fucking term. And isn't it funny that their terms are 9 months? Funny, not funny. The Supreme Court, in one of their first decisions, had decided to let a Texas law stand, where they have now allowed for women to die, because the state of Texas won't even allow for abortions to happen in the case of an emergency when it is necessary to save the life of the pregnant person. And the Supreme Court, rather than hearing that case, has allowed the lower court's decision to stand. That is one of their first acts that they have done coming back from their fucking break. And now, next up on their docket will be a case called the United States versus Scrimetti. This case is going to have ramifications for transgender equality in this country, and whether or not banning gender-affirming care is constitutional. Now, we already know where this Supreme Court stands. They are in the pocket of MAGA and Donald Trump, and we know where Donald Trump and the Republicans stand on transgender people just existing right in this country. Currently, right now, there are 24 states that have banned gender affirming care. This is care, by the way, in the form of hormone blockers, in the form of surgery that saves the lives of young people. Transgender people exist whether the Republicans want them to or not. And we know that suicide rates for LGBTQ youth, particularly for trans kids, is extraordinarily high in compared to their heterosexual and cisgender peers. And that this type of care can transform their lives for the better. And 24 states have decided that they don't want that. That while they'll pass laws that say that young people need to get their parents' permission in order to get birth control, when it comes to transgender youth, if your parents give you permission in order to receive the type of care, well, these red states are saying that they know better than your parents do, than your doctors do. It's a travesty. And so this case is now going to be heard before the Supreme Court. Opening arguments will be in December. And the fate of transgender equality is in the hands of 9 justices, more than half of which we know where they already stand. Which means that the laws that are in place in 24 states will stand, but it is possible that the number of those states that want to deny transgender people gender affirming care will increase, and that there will be no recourse for them. Much in the way that we have a patchwork of protections in place now that Roe v. Wade has been overturned by that same Supreme Court, we're looking at a continuation of a patchwork of protections for transgender people in this country. The other thing that I will say before I get out of here today, dear friends, is Georgia has just reinstated their 6-week abortion ban. 6 weeks is at a time when most people do not even know they are pregnant. The way in which women are dying unnecessarily in these states is horrific. It doesn't have to be this way. But we've allowed this Republican Party to label themselves as pro-life while they watch and celebrate the deaths of so many women. I want you to take a listen to this ad, and I'm going to say, to provide a trigger warning for it, because it is gut-wrenching. But the latest ad by the Lincoln Project that is directed at dads. Take a listen. This is real, folks. This is what is happening across this country. This is what the Republicans want to nationalize if Donald Trump becomes president again in 26 days. We are in the fight for our lives, for our children's lives, for our grandchildren's lives. The decisions that we make today will decide whether or not they're wiped out by a AK-47 in their classroom, by a Category 5 hurricane that rolls one right after the other, by not being able to access abortion care. Every which way spells certain death for people in this country. That's what the Republican Party wants. The party of cruelty, the party of hate, the party of disinformation, the party of traitors. We cannot go back. That is it for me today, dear friends, on Get Woke. As a reminder, please join me every Monday through Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern on The Danielle Moody Show, where we are live. And we are building an extraordinary community over there and conversation. And it is everything that is good to the soul. To know that you're not alone in your anxiety and your frustration, that there are people around you that are fighting just as hard. And so please join us over there, like and subscribe, do the most, because independent media is where it is at. And I appreciate each and every one of you so very much. I will be back on Saturday with another edition of Get Woke when we unveil our Woke Woman of the Week. I wonder who it will be. Do you have any suggestions? Drop them in the comment section below. As always, power to the people, and to all the people power. Get woke and stay woke. And sane and safe, dear friends.